Hi, my name is Arkila Covington. I want to talk to you from a topic of training or teaching your daughters how to love their bodies. Okay, weight and weight issues is something that's really important to me. Um, Most of my life, I've considered myself an athlete, and so that's why almost on an everyday basis, I dress in a hoodie and long sleeves and some tights. Mostly because I've been in this process or journey where I'm trying to align my behavior up with my belief. And I believe that I'm an athlete. I've always believed that I was an athlete. Ever since I was younger, when I would race in the neighborhood, when I would tumble in the neighborhood, I've always liked gymnastics. And so I did things to align my behavior up with my belief as an athlete. But as a female and as a Black American, athleticism isn't something that your body is typically geared toward. You know, you can't be shaped like me and be an athlete. And so I'll disrobe in a minute. I'll take off my hoodie in a minute because I'm typically covered up all the time. So I'll do that right before we leave, and I think I'll do the rest of the interview in that. And I'm doing it for a purpose. For a really long time, I've considered my body as a sexual object. And it's not because I wanted to, it's because starting at an early age, my body was sexualized. I've had grown men make comments about my bodies, and I'm not going to so much focus on the men for this piece. I'm mostly going to look at the women and how we could teach our daughters and train our daughters how to love their bodies and also do it in turn for us. One of the things I see so often, or I experienced often, was grown women telling me that I was thick as a kid. Now, thick is a term that's typically associated with sex. When you think of thickness, you think of sex or sexiness. And so at a young age, even though I made an attempt to fight back the push toward being sexualized, I'm hearing it so much, it did get into the psyche. And so if you have a young lady in your life, a girl in your life, think about how you refer to her body. Do you call her fat? Do you call her lazy? Do you call her ugly? Do you say my daughter's fine, or she hot, or you a thought? You know, what languages are you using to talk about the females in your life, the young girls in your life? Because that in turn shape how they're going to feel about their bodies moving forward. Now, I'm not here to say that one size is bigger than the other, whether you are a fat, medium, or skinny. I'm not here to discuss any of that. You know, there are people that are at a heavier weight and they feel comfortable within their own skin. I'm not negating any of that. So I'm not addressing that. What I'm addressing is how our daughters learn to hate their bodies because it's sexualized, and it's a confusing time period for adults to talk to children about their bodies in a sexualized way. Now, you may not think you're being sexualized. Oh, you got big titties, or oh, no man is going to want you unless you lose weight. Now, I've never heard you have big titties, but I have heard no man will ever want you because you're fat. And I heard that from a male close association, or a male relative. As a kid, I heard, you know, you may think you're thick now, But as an adult, ain't no man gonna want you because you're gonna grow up to be fat. And things like that, that right there stuck with me for a really long time. And it took me a long time to get over that. Like, why would he say that? Why would other people be around and listen to him saying that? And that's the other piece that I want to talk about. When you hear other adults referring to young girls as thick or objectifying them, that's the word I'm looking for. When you hear other adults objectifying young girls, one of the things you can do to prevent and or protect that little girl is to stop them. Because what happens with girls that grow up to hate their bodies, they establish eating disorders or an unhealthy relationship with their bodies, an unhealthy relationship with people, because they're struggling internally. They don't know whom to believe. Do I believe what the media is saying about me? Do I believe what my family is saying about me? Do I believe what my friends are saying about me? Or do I believe what I believe about me? And so I'll share my struggle. My struggle is I've always thought I was an athlete. I thought I was pretty good at sports. I thought I was very competitive. I thought my body should be used for sports. I think I have the body of a swimmer. I think I have the body of a runner. Not long distance because I'm too muscular to be a long distance runner. I can train for it, but I think I'm better equipped for sprinting. But that's not what my community said about me or my body. They said that my body was meant to be sexy. And because my body is meant to be sexy, these are the things that I should do. And so I remember in high school coming back from a award ceremony, and I had on a skirt and I had on a sweater. It was it was a Calvin Klein. It was fall, and I'm standing at the bus stop close to where I am. It's actually really close to where I am right now. And I'm standing on the bus stop with a skirt, a sweater, and a book bag, looking like a student. And two men driving down the street yelled out the car, "Damn, baby, you got some big legs." And I felt so humiliated, and I felt disgusted, really disgusted. And from that point on, I wore jogging pants, not tights. I wore jogging pants a lot. And I remember one of my auntie's boyfriends said to me, "What are you hiding from? Are you depressed or something?" And so I just wanted to be invisible. I did not want men looking at me in that area. And it really got me to looking at what my body represent. And I went on this quest of hiding, showing myself, hiding, showing myself. And when I say hiding, that means I would just want to be invisible. I would be in a crowd full of people and just want to be invisible. And how do you have this conversation with your parents or other members in your community when they've bought into the lie that you're sexy, or you have a big butt, or you have a a small tummy, or you have big titties, when you have already been objectified by the people in your community? How do you go and say and complain about being flirted with or someone complimenting your body, because it seems counterintuitive? And so I spent a lot of my adult life going back and forth between who I wanted to be and who other people thought I should be. Everyone would say, well, you look like this, so you should do this, or it's just all these different things. And so when I work with young girls or talk to young girls, and when I see the effects of the adults in their lives, when I see adults that are struggling with their bodies, I know that it's not because they really hate themselves. I know it was a genesis, something that occurred that made them dislike where they were. And another thing I'll share about me real quick. There were some things that happened that I gained weight, and I could not lose weight no matter what I did. And the reason why I was not able to lose weight was because I made an agreement with myself that said, I am not going to allow other individuals to look at me unless they're my husband. I got to a point where I only wanted one man to look at me because it felt safer than having all of these other eyes looking at you and gawking at you. And so I just couldn't lose weight because I said, if I were, and this is another lie, if I were fat, if I were bigger, no one would talk to me. Because remember, I heard that as a kid. I heard as a kid, if you were fat, nobody would want to be with you. And so I had to break that agreement with myself. We hold on to agreements that we're not even aware of. You've said some things to yourself, you believe some lie, and you carry it with you. And so as an adult that's dealing with body image issues, that's dealing with not liking themselves, think about what agreement you've made with yourself. If your goal is to lose weight and enjoy your body, I would say start to enjoy your body right now. Look at things to find something you like about yourself and go there. I like my body. I've always liked my body. I don't like the comments. I don't like other people sexualizing me. That part I don't like. I like my body. So I don't have that challenge, but I do come into contact with individuals that do hate their bodies. And it's not this whole body positive thing. I can't really get with that concept of body positive because it doesn't really address the root issue. When you're looking at bodies, especially Black or African American or however you choose to identify, especially when you're looking at bodies of dark-skinned individuals or minority individuals, we're not encouraged to play sports. We're not supported in playing sports. I've played more sports than my brother, I think. And because I'm a female, those sports aren't looked at as an actual sport. It's more looked at as a hobby. And so take interest in your daughters if they are interested in the sport. If they want to play a sport, find out which one best suits them. If they're bigger, if they're smaller, if they're thin, if they're solid or muscular, help them find a sport that they like, because the alternative to not knowing that there are other uses for your body is allowing your body to be objectified and sexualized. And truth of the matter, Black girls, brown girls, African American girls, you don't really make a lot of money sexualizing your bodies on Instagram like non-Black girls do. They could do whatever they want to do with their bodies, sexualize it, objectify it to make a profit. That doesn't happen for us. And we end up trying to strive to look like them through all these different surgeries. And at the end of the day, we still end up hating ourselves. And so I am so excited at where I am in my life right now, because although I still cover up, I'm hiding for a different reason. Like, I dress like this to be ready all the time if I'm going to go and work out. And then the other thing is, I like to take care of my skin. And so if I'm going to be out in the sun and I don't have on sleeves, I'll wear a sun protector, because black girls burn. And not just black girls, but everybody has the capacity to burn. And so I want to make sure I'm covered up. I'll put on sunscreen for my face. I have it in some of my my face moisturizers, and I also have it for my body. Look at what cocoa butter lotion you're using. Look at whatever lotion you're using. See if it has some level of sun protection in it. If you're going to be out in the sun, use sunscreen. Use some type of sun protection, and talk to your daughters about it. Let them know to protect their skin, to protect themselves. Utilize some type of skin protection. As far as eating disorders, I would diagnose myself with having an eating disorder, because I did binge and purge. I've never thrown up, like put my finger down my throat and throw up. But another form of purging is excessive exercising. And so there were times when I would do 2 exercises a day. And I'm not talking about walking. I'm talking about I would do weight training. I would do cardio. I would run like the one of the bridges out in the Bay Area. And I would just be in the gym all the time. Or I would take a laxative. I remember in my early or late 20s, I would take a laxative to stay small. And it doesn't help for your body, and it doesn't help for your digestive system. But those are things that I did. I would gain this weight because I would want people to look at me and sexualize me, and then I would feel uncomfortable in my skin, and I would just want the weight off. And I would want the weight off so fast that there were things that I would do. I would take appetite suppressants. I would take diet pills, which is the same thing, but people call it different things. Like I said, I would purge. I would go on different fad diets, and I don't want to name one or the other because I don't want to glorify that. I've since been living a healthy lifestyle all the way around, and just learning who I am in Christ and what He says I am. I got me a swimming suit, I got a swim cap, and I got some goggles so that I can start swimming. I can swim, but my fear is I'm scared to jump in the water. I'll start in on the shallow end, and I can swim over. Like, once I'm in the water, I can swim, I could float, I can backstroke, I can do all those things. But I'm just scared to jump in. And so for these next few weeks and probably months, I'm going to just jump into the water, jump in the deep end. And it just reminded me of when Jesus told Peter to take his boat out into deep waters and go fishing. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going out into deep waters, and I'm just going to do this because I need to really reprogram some of the bad thoughts. I need to cancel a lot of the agreements I made with myself. And so I'm saying this, and I'm using me because I'm the one with the microphone right now. But I can easily say, this is about training your daughters. And this is never a conversation I've had with any female in my family, with any female in my peer group. I used to go to, like, I've done karate, I've done taekwondo, I've done Muay Thai, I've done mixed martial arts. I said Muay Thai, but I really like Muay Thai. Like some of the exercises in Muay Thai, I like kickboxing and weight training. I've done strength training. I've done elasticity, where I'm just doing stretches. I've done dance training. So I've done a lot of trainings, and a lot of times I would be the only black female in these classes. And I would always say, I want to have girls that look like me in these classes. I want to invite more black girls into my space, but the more I look around, I don't see parents encouraging their black girls to get out there and go run, to go walk, to play a sport. You know, a lot of parents are so engaged and involved in their sons' careers because they think, well, they'll go to the NBA, they'll go to the NFL, they'll go to the NHL. You know, they're going to play professional sports, so we're going to lean on this. And all the while, they're neglecting their daughters, and their daughters are developing all of these body image issues, low self-esteem, uncertainty, not knowing, not having an outlet for the different challenges that they're experiencing at home and at school. And we don't even think that if we get our girls into sports, we can get them into college. They can get college scholarships for playing a sport. But we're not looking at that. We have our girls focus on academics, and so they're in this headspace. Do I utilize my body to move and do some type of exercise, or do I utilize my body to sit down and study, when you can do both? Now, when I originally this morning sat down to do this talk, I really wanted to go a different route with this. I had something completely, totally planned differently, but this morning when I came to it, I had so many technical issues that I said, okay, I'm going to do it tonight. And I wanted to be obedient to the Lord in this, because He's the one that prompted me to talk about this issue, talk about the self-image issues, and just share how body image issues and low self-esteem and weight problems affect the African American black community differently. There is not a lot of black girls in, like when I've worked in the anorexia facility, I didn't see a lot of black girls in those facilities because we're not typically diagnosed with eating disorders. We're not immune to it, but individuals look over it. And that's the same thing with all these other diagnoses. Now, I'm taking this off because I typically try to be modest and don't want people looking at me, especially as my work as a therapist. I've had male clients stalk me, send me lewd emails and photos of them, just trying to get in my space. So let me step over here. Okay, so I'm back. So I've had males try to get in my space, and I've had to report them to my supervisor. I've had to threaten them, saying if you ever contact me again, and like I'm really making threats to clients, and that goes above and beyond anything I believe. But I wanted to share my experience because that's one of the areas when we're talking about criminal justice reform, when we're talking about mental health reform, when we're talking about healing our communities, that's an issue that's underlooked. We overlook it, we undervalue it, we just act like it's not a matter, but that it is a matter. Women contribute to the economy. But if women or black women contribute to the economy in so many different ways, they purchase food for their families, they purchase food for themselves, they advertise, they talk about, But we are not trained in how do we divert all of those different, how do we divert that so that we are becoming profitable also. It's not profitable to tell your young daughter that she has big titties. It's not profitable to tell your young daughter or other female in your family that she is thick. It's not profitable to tell your teenage daughter that she looks like a thought. None of that is profitable. It's not edifying. It's not uplifting. It does nothing to the soul. And people get lost in translation. And so I know the title of this is Train Your Daughters in how to love their bodies. But you also have to learn to love your body. What is it that you need to do? What is it can you do to love your body a little more? And your body consists of your mind, your body, and your soul. If you're not loving your soul, if you're not changing your mind, then you're not going to love your body. No matter what it is that you do. Nothing will be sustainable. So if there's something you don't like about you that's changeable, change it. Start with your mind, body, and soul. Change it for yourself and be a model for the young girls that are in your life, so that when we start talking about how do we heal the community, how do we reform the criminal justice system, because your daughters are going to grow up to be mothers of sons and daughters. And so we want to start teaching them. We got to start talking to our daughters about being mothers, not at the age that they're at, but let's be better role models for them. Let's show them, and that starts with being better for ourselves. If you don't like you, if you're upset with you, if you're upset with your lot in life, look at what you can change. Look at who you can partner with. I've been in partnership with Jesus Christ for a few months now. It's actually been before a few months, but some tragedies, some trauma, some transitions occurred, and I got off track. I got way off track. And it put me in this place. But when you hold on to the truth of the word, when you remember what Christ says about you and what he told you and the promises that he made to you, your comeback is different. So working on your mind, your body, and your soul, my belief is that you hold on to the teaching of Jesus Christ. You hold on to what he said about you, the promises he's made, and one of them that you are beautiful and wonderfully made. And so you have to believe that. You have to believe that. Nobody can believe that for you. And then partner with someone that could help you with your thinking. But you have to fight the resistance yourself. You have to fight the negative thoughts. You have to do what we call pattern interrupt. You have to do some thought stopping processes. You got to get some good stuff in and take that junk out. Close it. I did a video a few months ago now. Fighting for the vision that God gave your family. That God gave you for your family. That means cutting out a lot of stuff and vertically looking at the Lord. You got to look up. We want to change the trajectory of our community. Change how we talk to our girls. Change how we talk to ourselves. Because once we start doing that, we're going to see a difference. We're going to see a shift. I'm excited about the words I want to use, but we got to have a revival on the inside. A revival on the inside. And that's going to come through Jesus Christ. That's my belief. But I know that other people have their own beliefs, and I don't knock it. But as long as you're participating in the revival that can take place in yourself, in your family, in your community, be committed to it. And I am so excited about what's about to happen. I'm excited about what is going on in me. I'm excited about the changes in my life and the vision and the stuff that I've had in the past, the stuff that I've written down in the past is coming to pass. And so that's why I believe that we have to start talking to our daughters differently. The revival, criminal justice reform is going to come through by the way we talk to our daughters. I believe that with all of my heart, with all of my mind, with all of my soul. And they say, trust in the Lord. Lean not on your own understanding, and He will make your paths right. And so what I'm saying right now may not click with you right now. You may not understand how talking to your daughters differently, how learning how to love your body, how learning how to talk about your body, how partnering with someone that's going to help you. You may not understand right now how that's going to help you. Everybody, now I know I talked about black girls and mostly that's because that's my experience personally and that's my experience professionally. I don't see a lot of black girls diagnosed with eating disorders. I see when I've looked at the diagnoses or I've read the charts, I just have not seen it. I also don't see a lot of black girls being encouraged to go into sports. Now I'm glad we got Serena and they are trying to pit them against each other. We need black girls in swimming. We need black girls in tennis. We need black girls in golf. We need black girls in horseback riding. We need black girls in all these sports because we all belong. All of us. We need all of us because we all live in this community together. And so to say somebody doesn't belong because of their skin, shame on you. But we need to teach our daughters to fight through that resistance. Fight through being the only black or the only girl or the only, like I said, I was the only black, like in my karate class, I was the only female at one point. I was the only black female, only black person at some of the points. And I would just compete because I was there and I had the skills. So I would compete with individuals. So let's get out there. Let's start and watch what's going to happen. Keep your eyes open because God is going to move in this community. And I don't mean St. Louis. I don't mean the Bay Area. I mean this nation. God is going to do something, but it starts with one person at a time, one household at a time, one community at a time, one city at a time. And so do your part. You got to get over that self-conscious stuff. Nothing's going to happen if you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're playing the role of wanting someone to nurse your wounds. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. But get out there. Get out there. And if you ever want to do challenges with me, I just started a new challenge. It's a 21-day challenge that I'm going to be doing. And then after that, I'm going to do a 6 weeks. So let's join it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's change the way we talk to our girls, change the way we talk to ourselves, and change the way we talk to our girlfriends. All right. Again, my name is Arkila Covington. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I do enjoy working, doing direct service in the community. And I do use my life as therapy because it's my ministry. All right, have a good day.